The Canadian Card Collector here, and welcome back to your daily deck review. And today, we're on day number 255. And the deck that we're taking a look at today is the Bicycle Harry Houdini playing cards from Collectible Playing Cards. So, with no further ado, let's take a look and see what we get. But these are still fully sealed, so we'll grab that pull tab that's right there, and we'll crack that cellophane right off. Here we have the Bicycle Harry Houdini playing cards in a the standard glossy finish tuck box. It's more of like for like the base color of it, it's more like a vintage kind of like, no, not like vintage, more like that old kind of like dirty, kind of like tan and brown kind of like look to it there. Then you got the bicycle over there in that red colorway. Then you got Harry Houdini there, and then playing cards. Then you got a little circle there with Harry Houdini there in the middle. Then you got Harry Houdini down there in the corner, and then you got his hand there with the Jack of Hearts. On the side, it says the United States Playing Card Company. On the other side, it says Air Crusher Finish, made in the USA. On the bottom, you got the collectible playing cards logo and website, the recycling logo, and some corporate information. These were made in 2024. United States Playing Card Company, the USA, and then the collectible playing cards website. On the back, got a sneak peek of that back design. And for the seal, you got a red stamp style seal with a little tan border and then this tan colored lock on the inside. On the top, you just got a little red detail like you saw on the side of the box. I'm not sure if there's any words under there because the seal covers it up. But now we'll crack that seal. We'll just push it down and grab our handy dandy card opener. Or yeah, there, now that's open. On the inner tuck flap, you just got more corporate information. On the inner tuck flaps, you just got that kind of like outside tuck box look to it, like that tan, the dirty kind of tan look to it. Take the cards out of the box. On the inside of the tuck box, it is just plain white. Nothing too crazy or fancy going on inside there. Now that we took a look at the tuck box, time to take a look at the cards. And first we'll start with the back design. Here we have a mirrored back design with not the standard white border. Well, you still got the standard like type of border, but it's not white. It has that kind of like same tuck box kind of like texture to it. So it's kind of like that old style kind of like, I'm not even sure how to really explain it, like that papery vintage kind of look to it. And then for the background, you got still got that like circle design to it. There you got those like, and you still got like the mirrored circle designs there on either side with Harry Houdini there. And then you got the chains going around it. Then you got the locks there, holding the chains together. Then you kind of got a red wavy kind of little pattern in the background, and the little red border around, and that kind of like standard like kind of border, just in that like more dirtier, dirtier kind of look to it. And now for the card you get with the deck. Here we have the first Joker. It says Joker, Joker there, and then I'm assuming all the cards are gonna have that kind of like same texture kind of background, so I won't really mention it throughout the rest of the cards. And you can definitely see that. So it's definitely a fully inked design. We'll talk about that in a second. Here we have the first Joker, as I said, Joker, Joker there in the corners. Then you got Harry Houdini there, chained up, doing one of his performances where he's chained up there, like in one of his escaped acts. And then you got the second Joker where it has the red font instead of the black font. And then he's standing there once again, but the chains are all over the ground because he escaped, or the one he's chained up, and the second one, he's free. And before we get on to the rest of the cards, I gotta mention, this is fully inked deck. So with fully inked decks, the cards could chip a little bit in the corners and start turning white. It happens with the darker colored fully inked decks more, but it could still happen with any fully inked deck. That's one thing to notice. Now that we've seen the two jokers, onto that custom Ace of Spades. So you got that big spade there in the middle with that kind of little circle, like fancy design thing around it, and it says Harry Houdini on the inside. And then you kind of like a vintage, kind of like old style kind of look to the numbers there in the corners. And then the spades have that same kind of like distressed, kind of old, like kind of dirty kind of look to it. That goes throughout the rest of the spades. Then we got the court cards. They're still standard court cards, just like a kind of like almost like a vintage kind of filter over it, where it kind of makes it slightly kind of like distressed or grainy in a way. So still the standard court cards, just a little bit of customization, because they do have like a border around them. Then we get to the ace of diamonds. It's the same as the spade. Ace of spades, it just has the diamond there. So pretty much all the cards are the same. They just have like the different suits to them. So they're all that kind of like distressed kind of look to it. If I'm using that word right, with the old dirty kind of look to it. And the same thing, pretty much standard court cards. There's that kind of like filter kind of design over top of it. Same thing for the clubs, standard clubs, just that distressed kind of look over top. Then you got that custom club design there. And the same kind of spade there. So I guess all the aces are the same. And then lastly we get to the hearts. They have the same standard court cards, just as that custom heart design. Then the same thing for the ace, the same ace. And then the last two cards in the deck, you kind of got, I guess, you got a gap card there. Well, here's the back design. You got a gap card, or like it's kind of like crumpling up the back design to reveal Harry himself. And on the other side, you got a 13 of spades. And for the last card in the deck, you got a little ad card, I guess. It says bicycle. And you got the Harry Houdini in the little circle there. And you got the same, and then it says king of cards, playing cards. And on the back, it's the back design there. Now that we took a look at the cards, time to test the handling. And first we'll start with the springs. And sometimes when cards are fully inked like this, they could be thicker. Not all the time, but sometimes it makes the cards a little bit thicker. But first we'll start with those springs. They do have flex to it, but they also feel a little bit stiff at the same time. But they still feel nice and smooth. They spring pretty good though. They're nice spring. They got some flex to it, but you definitely have to put a little bit of pressure into springing them, because they're slightly thicker. And since these are brand new straight out of the box, these are going to be a little bit slick and slippery, so it will slide out of your hands from time to time, and especially when doing springs, I guess. You just want to fly out of your hands with the springs. There's nothing wrong with those springs. The cards are just slightly on the thick side and stiffer side. What nice springs. Now we'll move on to the fans. As you can see, they spread pretty evenly. You can't really see half the numbers just because the way the cards are set up, I guess, and how they spread. But you can see some of the numbers there. There's no real stickiness or clumpiness to the cards. So you can start to see some of the numbers is the way they spread, I guess, and how the cards are like, marked in the corners of the cards. Sometimes they're like slightly farther in, but they still spread pretty evenly. Now on to the Pharaoh. You got a pretty smooth Pharaoh there, and they interlock the way flawlessly. Now for the giant fan of that back design. Now for that reverse Pharaoh. and they reverse fared decently. They did catch a little bit. I'm gonna have to like slightly push them together a little bit more. But they interlocked away pretty nicely there. Not like overly crazy or anything. Now for a giant fan of the faces. Well, that happened. The cards are definitely slippery. They wanted to just fly out of my hands. We're now on to the Riffle Shuffle or Bridge Shuffle. Oh yeah, and these bridge shuffles feel fantastic already. There's definitely no issues with the Riffle Shuffles or Bridge Shuffles. So they're perfectly fine there. Nice and smooth, and they work every time. Now time for a few packet cuts. Well, the pack cuts feel pretty smooth there, pretty average pack cuts. Nothing overly crazy about them. Just normal pack cuts, which is a good thing. Now time for the one-handed cut, or surely a cut. Now time for the dribble. Well, the dribbles feel pretty fantastic. No issues there. Pretty normal dribbles. Nice and smooth. Now time for that spread fan. And lastly, spread the cards on the table. Well, I gotta say, it's a pretty nice deck here. You got that nice simplistic kind of like circle design, back design there. Then you got those custom faces there. They all have the custom pips to them. Well, slightly custom pips, I guess. Nothing like overly crazy. The core cards though are pretty like standard. They got a little bit of customization to it, and they all have this kind of distressed look to it. So if you're a fan of the distressed look, then it's pretty nice. But if you're not a fan of the distressed kind of look, then these would not be for you. Because some people do not like that kind of like look to it, like the dirty kind of look to the cards. But that's what I collect any type of cards and review any kind of cards. So I'll review anything. It doesn't matter to me. So I think they don't look terrible. Obviously, they're not like a everyday deck, but they're still pretty nice looking. So overall, a decent design, just not for everybody. And then for the handling, you just saw, they're a bicycle deck. So the handling, they definitely pass the handling, nice and smooth in every way. Just that fully inked deck, they could be a little bit stiffer than normal. But overall, a fantastic deck. Overall, not too much wrong with it. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed, and this has been day number 255 of a daily deck review. This has been the Bicycle Harry Houdini playing cards from Collectible Playing Cards, and I'm the Canadian Card Collector signing out. That's the video. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.